Hello, my Astro family. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and today I have three good news for you. The first one is that I'm back doing monthly horoscopes, obviously, yay! After a few months break. The second good news is that August will be so much better than crazy July with all the eclipses in July, all the sun opposition, Pluto, Saturn, all the retrograde planets. August will give us a break. August will be time when the winds are changing and turning for us. Jupiter and Mercury are turning direct, and we have a conglomeration or stellium of planets in a very positive sign. And the third good news is that I finally completed and I'm ready to release my predictive astrology course. It's based on techniques from all types of astrology, ancient, modern, Vedic, Western, the predictive techniques that I have found out work the best. And basically I give you all my secrets. It's about 12 hours. It was part of it is from the retreat that I just did, professional quality, and part of it is recorded in the studio. So, and I'm giving it for 50% off to the first 100 people that order it. And I'm adding also for the first 100 people that order it, another course of mine, which usually costs $200, but I'm adding it for free, 60 most important transits. And this predictive course will teach you all my secrets. Transits in particular, we focus in particular on solar returns and progressions and dashes. So lots of interesting information. And now let's start with the 12 signs and predictions for each sign. Hello, Taurus. Let's see August for you. What is happening? Well, Mercury starts moving direct in your, where are you? In your third house from the beginning of August, because it was retrograde in your fourth and in your third houses in July. But that is great news, because usually when a planet goes retrograde, the area of that house gets more complicated. We have to put more efforts, and we as human beings don't like putting more efforts. We love to see the results of our efforts, and that's when we start seeing the results of our efforts, when the planet starts moving directly. So it's starting to move directly in the third house. So if there were some complications in relationships with siblings, with relatives, with neighbors, with teammates, with playmates, with co-workers, these are the people in our everyday environment. If there was some misunderstanding or some delays, or maybe working on a project in a small group environment and there was some kind of extra effort that had to be done, or in some business and commercial activities, because third house is a very business commercial activity house. So if you're trying to do things there while Mercury was retrograde, it was just the hard work. It's not always so easy. Things don't go according to expectations. But now Mercury starts moving direct, so all such relationships start straightening up, becoming more predictable. Maybe sometimes you leave people when Mercury goes retrograde. Some associate you might have left in July, or some certain aspect of a relationship with siblings, with relatives, with teammates. But usually, if it was negotiated well, this relationship is just revised, so it becomes more balanced for both of you and more reasonable for both of you, so to speak. It makes more sense. So you're gonna start seeing the solutions, and you're gonna start seeing the results of anything to do relationships with such people from the beginning of August. But also third house is business commercial activities and projects. So if you are working something, editing some commercial project, for example, working on some video to edit it, on some recording some course or class, or preparing some project, and while Mercury was retrograde, you have to fix it and change the bit and change your vision for it, or whatever or if you're in administration, you have to redo some papers and revisit them, or some project that required 3 times more efforts, 3 times more of your mental skills efforts. Well, now you're gonna start seeing the results, so they can complete. If there are some delays with trips or journeys or documents, or missing pieces of information, or some miscommunication, or even some kind of breaking down of software, or some kind of problems with communication technology, laptops and things, when Mercury starts moving direct again, you start seeing those things being part of the past and getting resolved. And then Mercury joins all those planets here in your 10th house, Taurus, in your fourth house. But Mercury for a little bit was retrograde in July in your fourth house as well. So for some of you, Taurus, There might have been some misunderstandings with family members, extended family. Maybe things from the past that were not said were brought up to the surface and they hurt. My husband is a Taurus moon, so these things happen. And there's still Mercury still retrograde in Leo while I'm doing that, and we're talking through them and working them through and trying to make a new plan and trying to make new rules for the family and with my crazy family, because things are coming up that are not so pleasant, and we're trying to work through them. And usually, thankfully, by the time Mercury enters Leo again in August, all will be forgiven, will be a better family, the extended family will stop having like saying stuff. So I'm just giving you one life example how it can work out. But also, if there were some complications in regards to property, place of living, or delays with selling or buying, um, or relocation of some sort, or having to fix something, because oftentimes we have to fix something at home when Mercury goes retrograde in the fourth. Some I know of a couple of Tauruses, they started fixing their garden or something at home when Mercury is retrograde, rearranging stuff. Well, when by the time Mercury enters Leo, you start seeing the results of that. It's now you enjoy the results of the efforts you put. Such problems with home or property, if you have to fix something there, rearrange, are gonna get resolved, or some documents regarding to property or family and such things, if you're expecting. Or they also rules vehicles. So if there was some things you're trying to do in regards to vehicles, again, August, the first 1 2 weeks, all of those things are happening. And look how many other planets there are there. You got so much energy towards such things. You know, you're so initiative when it comes to Mars and the Sun, when it comes to fixing things around the house or with the family. You might be just find yourself as a Taurus involved in so many um, fun, let's hope fun activities. It's Leo after all, with family. I would advise you to be active, to organize maybe some trek with family members, to get together with them, or a lot of activities around that. And my husband can't escape it because we live next to my brother, my parents. It's all the time family on top of his head. In August, it seems like will be the same, even more so. But if you're looking for place to buy, if you're looking, for example, for a new home, something very important is happening in this August for you. This is maybe when the trigger, when it's gonna start happening for you. And you might find yourself developing a lot of interest towards your roots, towards traditions, towards uh, maybe family tree or something like that. But you might find yourself that you're quite busy with parenthood duties, or that you just enter yourself the role of the nurturer and the protector and the carer, and you have to take care of other family members of the sort. Or if you still don't have your own family, this can indicate that you're very focused. Like a lot of the time you're spending at home, and it's almost like you want to feel protected uh, in the in your own little castle of safety, so to speak. And you're working hard towards achieving that and creating this zone of comfort for yourself. Mm, One thing though, so many planets in the fourth house can make you moody. It's just like it brings up that Cancer energy of the fourth house, especially with Sun and Mars there. You can just be emotionally more reactive, more snappy. Mars will square your moon at some time, or your Sun, or your ascendant if it's in Taurus. So you can find yourself for about a week, uh, and for everyone is different depending on the degrees that Mars, And by the way, if you want to know your personal transits, you don't need any of those weekly that I do monthly. You can just go to astrolab.com and check that it's for free for a whole week ahead, or you can buy a month. It's $6 to see your transits for 6 months ahead. For a whole month ahead, or for a whole year. You can everything I'm talking becomes irrelevant here, because you know your personal transits that no one else in the world knows, and the exact days when those things happen. So yes, the only thing is just be careful not to be too, with snappy. There will be certain periods when you want to snap at others, and kind of a bit too dominating when it comes to your home and family, but you'll be taking decisions there definitely. But Venus, that rules you, is also in the fourth house. You can do something to beautify your home, buy it something to decorate it, to make it more pleasant, to make it more to feel like home and like you belong. So definitely a lot of focus there. And we have another important thing happening. Jupiter is turning direct in your eighth house, Taurus. So eighth house, and Jupiter was retrograde for 4 months. Uh, so this is a time when maybe you're re-examining some financial situation, especially finances connected with you and your marriage spouse or business partners. It's not only your own money, but shared resources and finances. So some investments, maybe you are re-evaluating it, studying how to do it, but maybe there were some delays. I can give you an example. We've been trying to swap. That's my husband. We're talking. He's Taurus. Taurus moon. You can see the Taurus in him way more than the Cancer and the other things. So we've been trying to swap payment system. This is eighth house resources with others. It's our business mutual, and to change it from PayPal. It's just delays and delays and complications. PayPal has been so like putting limits on the accounts for no reason, then not answering for weeks. Since it all started with Jupiter retrograde here in Sagittarius, when it starts like from around April or something like that, it's all started happening. April, May. So this such kind of stuff, some delays that you're expecting money from client, or maybe some delays for payments for something from a bank, or from payment that has to be done to your husband or to your wife or to your business partner, whatever it is, that's going to get resolved. Or maybe you're expecting some money from taxes, or maybe you're expecting some money from, or not only money, some resources from another. Maybe you are dependent on your business on certain resources or materials that come to you from another place, and you've been reevaluating, should I keep buying those products for my business, or should I move to a different one? Well, all those things and complications will be solved when Jupiter starts moving direct. So problems with taxes will start moving ahead, will be resolved with mutual resources and finances. If there have been some revelation of your sex life, and you know discussions, let's say, trying to explore more deeper the intimacy, the connection, if there has been some important such kind of developments that were a bit more crisis prone, well, Taurus, this thing will be resolved, and will start, such blockages will be removed, and you'll have more understanding about it and clarity when Jupiter starts moving direct there in your eighth house as well. Also, if you've been studying astrology or psychology, or working on yourself, on your subconscious, some transformation has been happening while Jupiter was retrograde on a deep internal level, because retrograde works very internally, to implant it deeper in you. Now, when Jupiter starts moving direct from the middle of August, you're gonna see the breakthrough, the change, the transformation that it starts happening. Till now, it was internal. Now you start seeing externally the results of that, and you're gonna see that a big shift is happening psychologically. Some release of blocked feelings and emotions from the middle of August. Even some resentment and crisis from a long time can start being released, even such that you've blocked and you don't remember. You can see like a release of such kind of more intense feelings. And you see all the planets in August for you, Taurus, are in the emotional houses, the fourth, the eighth. There is healing. These are emotional but also healing houses. So they can be triggered like with the family, that basically creates some emotional healing, or some healing that's happening emotionally can improve the relationship with family, or some emotional blockages that you have. Some sexual blockages as well can be can unblocking those can be the reason for happiness. Fourth house is happiness and personal happiness. So there is a very internal focus as well on some level, because these are psychological houses, but in a positive way there is release of painful feelings, and you're there is intensity in you, but this intensity somehow is healing intensity. And then when Jupiter starts moving direct in the eighth, all matters connected to mutual resources and financial things will also start moving forward with opportunities. And fears connected to doubts and trust and sex issues will start being resolved as well. So thank you so much, Taurus. Hope that was helpful. Maybe some of you will get money from another person when Jupiter starts moving direct. Maybe some big present or something that you consider very valuable you can receive from another person. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next month.